going that way, guys.
Chaos erupted outside a Miami club when Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis clashed in a major way. Punches were thrown, harsh insults were exchanged, and even families got dragged into it. The whole thing kicked off when Davis took things too far, throwing heavy insults at Crawford and his family. To make matters worse, he mocked Crawford for trying to secure a fight with Canelo Alvarez. This feud has been simmering for months, but last night it finally blew up in the most unexpected way. Let's break it all down. Picture the scene. It was a typical wild night in Miami, with celebrities and sports stars filling the city's hottest club. Among the VIP guests were Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis, both looking to unwind after their recent fights. At first, the two boxing stars stayed in separate sections, but as the night went on, their paths eventually crossed. Eyewitnesses say the mood shifted when Davis approached Crawford, clearly looking for trouble. What began as light-hearted banter quickly turned ugly when Davis started throwing personal insults, not just at Crawford, but at his family as well. The level of disrespect was shocking, with Davis openly mocking Crawford's family right there in front of everyone. Crawford, usually known for keeping his cool, tried to shake it off at first. But things took a sharp turn when Davis started mocking Crawford's push for a fight with Canelo Alvarez. The atmosphere grew tense as Davis laughed and said, "Canelo doesn't even care about you, man. You're just chasing a fight for a payday." The disrespect was clear, and the tension only kept rising.
Likelihood of a fight with you and Terence Crawford, it would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We don't talking about yet about the fight. Me and Turkanash know each other, and then we wanna see what happens.
And when do you want to get out next? I know you're here in London tonight. When are you going to be in a camp? When are you going to be in a camp? I know you're
in camp, training camp in March.
Okay, so
at the beginning of the middle of the February or March. Yeah.
That was the breaking point for Crawford. In an instant, he snapped, lunging at Davis and throwing a punch that took everyone by surprise. Security rushed in to break them apart, but the damage was done. Chaos erupted. People were screaming, cameras were flashing, and the entire club was in total chaos. It's a moment that won't be forgotten anytime soon, and not for the right reasons. If you've been following the boxing world, you know this clash didn't just happen out of the blue. The tension between Crawford and Davis has been building for months, fueled by constant social media jabs and heated interviews. The feud began when Crawford threw some shade at Davis for not getting an invite to Turki Al Sheikha's exclusive Ring Awards bash in London, a remark that didn't sit well with Davis. Not one to stay silent, Davis clapped back, accusing Crawford of going after paydays instead of true legacy, especially with his push to fight Canelo Alvarez.
Why are you retiring?
What changed?
What made this shit trash, garbage?
If you got the opportunity to sign a prospect for GTD, who will be?
Gervonta, something should have happened during the time, because when I saw you at the Frank Martin press conference, it looked like you were like the talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously what you've done through boxing since you were a kid and everything? Where's Calvin Ford? Is Calvin Ford or Leonard Edelby? Usually they're around to.
You think you might be gaining love for it though? You never know. But, you know, like I said, you got to walk for days.
The insults kept flying, each one more personal than the last. This feud has been making headlines for a while, but no one saw it escalating to physical violence until now.
Bud Crawford, just won his debut at 154. Said if the money's right, we'll fight. Everybody wants that fight. What do you feel about that matchup? People saying the weight, all this stuff. How do you feel about that?
You know, everybody wants to fight me. Everybody calling me out and everything. And you know, like I say, I have nothing to win with Crawford. 2-3 ways less than me. But if the money is right, why not? Right? Why not? But look, I'm focused 100% on Berlanga. I know I have a challenge in front. I never overlook any fighter. So I'm focused 100% in this, and then we'll see.
Now, let's dive into the whole Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez drama that Davis used to clown Crawford about. Crawford's decision to move up to 168 pounds and challenge Canelo for his unified super middleweight titles has sparked a range of reactions.
Tonight, Terence Crawford was with Turki Al Sheikh at the other event across town, put out an open challenge to you on the internet with Turki Al Sheikh calling you out. What's your response to Terence Crawford's call out tonight?
No comment.
Some see Crawford's move as a bold step to cement his legacy by taking on one of boxing's biggest names. But others think he's just after a payday, with little chance of actually beating Canelo.
When you say, I want Canelo, is there anybody in the camp that would say, you're not ready for this?
That's a big boy. He's strong. That's a conversation. It's not just, oh man, you will whoop his ass.
Like, yes, man type stuff.
I'm not worried about Canelo. I'm not thinking about Canelo. I'm just focused on Israel Magno.
In a small way, is this a stepping stone to your dream fight?
I don't look at fights as stepping stone. It's about now.
Davis didn't hold back. He mocked Crawford for thinking Canelo even cares about him or the fight. Canelo's got bigger things to worry about, Davis reportedly said. He probably doesn't even know you exist, and here you are begging for a fight like it's your retirement plan.
Errol has a metal shield and you have a glass shield. Talk about the punch resistance. What do you think it takes assessment, man?
You gonna see?
We're gonna see.
Could he get it in the future?
Too little.
I mean, you came up from 35, right?
He ain't fighting no real guys at 47.
See, okay. What about everyone's talking about Errol fighting the winner of Canelo and Jamel. Could you ever do that? Is that too much weight or?
What, 168?
Yeah.
I ain't going up there.
Right.
So you got Canelo winning then, right?
Then he fighting at 168.
Many people have criticized the Crawford versus Canelo fight, calling it more of a spectacle than a legitimate sporting event, with entertainment value taking priority over real competition.
My good friend, my brother, Terence Crawford, wants to fight Canelo.
Yeah.
Just from your expert opinion, knowing how Canelo fights, what he's like in the ring, I know you haven't been in the ring with Terence, but what do you think of that fight?
I truly believe, that, anything can happen in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can't count him out.
Boxing experts and analysts believe Crawford should prove himself by facing top contenders at 168 pounds, rather than skipping ahead for a shot at Canelo. Davis's taunts really struck a chord with Crawford, and that's what finally pushed him to snap.
For you, though, is that career defining? Is this a legacy fight for you?
Well, when I got shot, for me to change my life the way that I did and stop hanging out with the guys that I hung out with, my career started going up. And yes, this is a legacy fight for me. This is a mega fight. This is a superstar fight. This is all those in one with me and Errol Spence Jr. A lot of people, they writing me off because they say, oh, well, he's too small, or he haven't fought nobody like Errol Spence, or his resume is this, or his resume that. There's a lot of things that a lot of people can say, but on July 29th, all the answers to everybody's questions will be answered.
Fans went wild when news of the Crawford-Davis confrontation broke. Social media exploded with many people showing support for Crawford, saying Davis crossed the line by bringing his family into the feud. Others believe it's just Tank doing what he does best, stirring up drama to stay in the headlines as he nears retirement. Let's be honest, Tank isn't just throwing punches for fun. He's building hype, and it's clearly working.
Are you retiring?
What changed? What made this shit trash, garbage? If you got the opportunity to sign a prospect for GTD, who will be?
Gervonta, something should have happened during this time, because when I saw you at the Frank Martin press conference, it looked like you were like the talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously what you've done through boxing since you were a kid and everything? Where's Calvin Ford? Is Calvin Ford or Leonard Edelby usually they're around to?
You think you might regain the love for it though? You never know. But like I said, you got to talk today.
Here's the twist. Tank Davis isn't just focused on Crawford. Word is, he's in talks for a huge rematch with Ryan Garcia, and we're talking about a staggering $150 million deal. And guess who's behind it all? None other than Turki Al-Sheikh, the man who's been funding some of boxing's biggest events.
Hopefully I fight Ryan again. If they're not on some host, I'll tax that ass again. Tell them boys to give me 150 M's. I'm coming. You know what I mean? When I start streaming out that, and that, stop it, knock it off, cuz. Stop it. Tell them send that bag, and I'm coming. And I'm,
Turki Al-Sheikh's role isn't just about the cash. He's all about bringing that big show excitement to every fight he's involved in. He's the mastermind behind these high-profile matchups and super fights, and he's deeply connected to both Crawford's and Tank Davis's latest moves.
Canelo, Johnny Boy Boxing, fight hype. I just want to ask you, what do you think about Terence Crawford? What do we think about Terence Crawford's performance, and do you want to get a fight with him?
If the money is right, I mean,
$100 million. I heard Turkey offered you a big money already.
150.
150?
Fans are talking non-stop about how Turkey's influence is making every fight feel like a major event. Whether it's Crawford going after Canelo or Tank building up his rivalries, it's all part of a bigger plan to dominate the headlines and keep fans hooked. And with Tank looking to make a big statement before retiring, you can expect some serious fireworks before he calls it quits.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo has, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean?
So what does this mean for Crawford and Davis moving forward? For Crawford, this could have some serious repercussions. With a huge fight against Canelo coming up, this kind of drama is the last thing he needs. Promoters and sponsors won't be happy about their fighter making headlines for street brawls, and it could even jeopardize the fight altogether.
That's why I don't want to box no more. I want to do therapy, right? But I feel as though if I do therapy, it will lose the fire that I have inside me. I want everything out of me where so I don't never think about fighting again. I don't think about even getting angry, you know what I mean? Because I have 2 girls, 2 daughters. I'm wanting to be much softer, you know what I mean? Be more humble and things like that.
On the flip side, Davis has been talking about retiring for a while, and this incident might speed up that decision. He's set for one final fight against Lamont Roach at the Barclays Center, with talks of a major matchup against Keyshawn Davis also gaining momentum. But this brawl could cast a shadow over his last moments in the sport.
They talking, they talking, but you know how I get, you know how it's gonna get. 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 I'm a machine, a real machine. You know how it's gonna get. A real one. And I promise you, you better lead them home. You better lead the females home. On my mother, you better lead the females home and the kids. On my mother. Yeah, now watch this. Now watch.
They gonna be
now
there.
watch. Now watch.
What's different from 10 minutes ago when you said that?
You know how when they told you say how like I posed for Lomachenko, right? And like how he said like he was retiring, things like that. I feel as though like we've been in it so long that we are getting tired of it. Like we've been beating our body up so long, but it be like situations like just now, like when he talking that spark the plug again.
Yeah, that's what I
all
want.
it takes for you? Is that all it takes? Just a little comment?
Nah, but that's what I want though. I don't want you to fight me like you saying you're going out.
It always go like this. It always go like this.
Nah, what I'm saying, you just said you feel like you going out.
They go to sleep.
I don't want you to feel like you going out.
Both fighters could be looking at fines or even suspensions from athletic commissions, and the public is already weighing in with strong opinions. It's a messy situation, and the consequences could be serious for both of them.
When saying that he wants you, things like that. Does that stuff just sound crazy, or just like I'm supposed to be called out? You know.
When you look at all the great fighters, they was getting called out by everybody from different weight classes. So it's nothing, that I'm not surprised about.
A Tank would be something that he said he'll touch your chin and.
Man, everybody say, what they'll do, but Tank is in his weight class for a reason, and I don't see him come up to 147 to face me no time soon.
With all the drama surrounding them, the big question is, could we see an official fight between Crawford and Davis? The weight difference between them is substantial, but in boxing, stranger things have happened. Crawford is a welterweight moving up to super middleweight, while Davis has ruled the lightweight division. And with Davis hinting at retirement, anything could happen.
Gervonta Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to dare to be great, he can be like all the other fighters that moving up 2 weight classes, and, daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him to come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin. So tell him come and touch it.
Wow. Oh, man. Gervonta said you got a glass.
He said I got a glass chin. Tell him come and touch it.
At 147?
At 147. I'll make 147.
Ooh, see, man.
You're going to have a pre-camp.
Then what the people going to say? Oh, he's beating up on little guys.
Just imagine the hype if Crawford and Davis actually settled their beef in the ring. It would be one of the most talked about fights in recent memory, and fans would be glued to their screens. While there are logistical hurdles to making this fight happen, the demand is definitely there. So, where do we go from here? Will Crawford and Davis face consequences for their actions? Could this altercation lead to a sanctioned fight between the two? And how will this affect their careers and legacies going forward? There are still plenty of unanswered questions, and the boxing world is waiting eagerly for more updates. One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. Whether in the ring or on the streets, Crawford and Davis have unfinished business. We'll be keeping a close eye on what happens next, so stay tuned for all the latest developments. What do you think about this crazy incident? Are you Team Crawford or Team Davis? Do you think this beef will lead to an official fight? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on the latest boxing drama. Catch you in the next one.